You know, haven't been doing too well betting on sports lately. At first I was betting with my gut, no success. Then I started doing some research, no success. Some people say that betting with their gut is the way to go. Other people say doing research is the way. But I believe I have discovered the secret. Trends. I mean, look at all these amazing trends. The Braves are 6-2 in their last 8 games on the road against the Mets. The Astros are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games. The total has gone over in 4 of the last 6 Rangers games when playing at home against Oakland. The Padres are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games when playing the Dodgers at home. But wait, there's more. The Brewers are 10-0 straight up since May 24, 2021 after they scored at least 6 runs in their last game? Well, obviously I'm taking the Brewers here. The Diamondbacks are 0-10 straight up since September 5th, 2020 as an underdog since after they had 12-plus hits in their last game? Obviously, the Brewers are the play. Oh, wait a second. The Padres are 8-0 straight up since April 5th when Yu Darvish starts as a favorite after they use 5-plus pitchers. Yes, oh man, this is gold. Absolute gold. Oh man, I'm gonna make so much money. Welcome back to Sports Betting Truth, and today's going to be all about trends. And trends are very common in the sports betting world. I mean, you don't have to look very hard to find the trends that I showed in the teaser video. And here is the problem with trends, especially the trends featured in the teaser video. So for a trend to be statistically significant, it has to meet 3 criteria. I mean, this is not just sports betting related. This is anything to do with statistics in general. So the 3 criteria that must be met. Criteria number 1 is the trend cannot have an arbitrarily cherry-picked start and end point. I'm going to use an example here. I forgot where I saw it, but it might have been Fox Bet Live or one of those other garbage shows out there. And they were talking about the Cowboys. It was a couple years ago. And they were saying something like the Cowboys are 13-2 against the spread in their last 15 home games or something like that, right? If you actually did the research, they were right. The Cowboys were 13-2 against the spread in their last 15 home games. It was something like that, right? However, last 15 home games, if you looked at their last 25 home games, though, they are only 16-9, not 13-2. So my question is, how come the stop point was their last 15 home games? How come it wasn't their last 16 home games? How come game number 15 was relevant, but game number 16 wasn't? Why was game number 14 and 15 considered relevant, but not game number 20, 25? Why did they pick 15 to stop at? That's because it was the most sexy-looking stopping point. It made the trend look as profitable as possible. 13-2 looks a lot better than 16-9. 13-2 looked a lot better than 8-2. So that's where the peak of the trend occurred. But it was cherry-picked, arbitrarily cherry-picked stopping and starting endpoints. Like, how do you determine what is relevant and what's not? So if game number 15 is relevant, but game number 16 is not relevant, you have to use data to explain why, and no one can ever do that. It's because they're cherry picking. Just like in the teaser video, what was it? Yu Darvish, like whatever, in his last 5 starts since April 24th. Why April 24th? Why not April 17th? Why not April 10th? Why not April 3rd? Why the cherry picking? All right, so that's one criteria that has to be met for a trend to be statistically significant. It can't have cherry-picked arbitrary start and stop points. All right, number 2, the data cannot be outdated. So I'm going to use another example. I was watching ESPN's College Game Day one Saturday morning, having to deal with the crappy Tom Rinaldi tearjerker segments. I'm glad that's not going to be a part of it anymore, but I digress. They were talking about betting trends, of course, and I want to say it was like Michigan and Michigan State. This is a few years ago. I want to say 2016. I don't know if that was the exact matchup. Just go with me here, guys. And they were something like, Michigan State is 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 games at Michigan. And so, of course, the average person would be like, oh, I better be on Michigan State then. But here's the deal. This is 2016, and assuming that Michigan State plays at Michigan every 2 years, 8 games of data, that's 16 years. So this is data going all the way back to 2000. Wasn't Tom Brady the quarterback at Michigan still in 2000? So basically, we're talking several head coaches. I want to say Nick Saban was still head coach at Michigan State in 2000. And I'm guessing Lloyd Carr is Michigan. So we're going back 16 years to make a trend happen. We're going back 16 years for a trend. While the players in the current Michigan State game were 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old at the time that game was played. How is games played 16 years ago relevant to today? Outdated data. You can't use outdated data for a trend. That doesn't make any sense. Really, the only data that matters is the current season. If you don't have enough data, you're going to have to come up with preseason algorithms to project stats to fill in the gaps until enough games have been played. But if you're going back even a season or 2 or 3 to make up some trend, that's stupid. That's stupid. It doesn't. You're talking about way outdated data that's no longer relevant to today. I mean, come on. Nick Saban was coaching and Tom Brady was throwing the ball. I mean, really? That's data that's formulating your trend? Jeez, it's like, think, people, think. And not just that, but that Michigan State trend also, like criteria number 1, had an arbitrarily picked start and stop point. Why they stop in 2000? Why not 2004? Why not 1996? Why 2000? It's because it made the trend look the best. Criteria number 3, this is an obvious one, but it has to have a big enough sample size. And both examples I've given, the Cowboys example had 15 games. The Michigan State example had 8 games? Nowhere near big enough sample size to be statistically significant. How big of a sample size do you need for it to be statistically significant? Well, that's how low you want your confidence interval to be. Obviously, the bigger sample size, the lower your confidence interval is going to be on the bell curve. Typically a confidence interval of 95% is what you're looking for, so 3 standard deviations from the mean. 8 games, 15 games, that's going to have a pretty damn big confidence interval. Pretty big margin of error. Confidence interval, also known as the margin of error. So, I mean, I would say at least minimum, you probably want 250 games, minimum. I don't know, maybe that might be a little high. I mean, I've worked in statistics my whole life, and you deal with small sample sizes. You do, especially in custom-made market research surveys and stuff like that. Sometimes you have to make do with the sample size of 30 or 50, but you can get away with doing that in market research and stuff like that. You probably can't get away with that in sports betting. Not big enough sample size, too high of a margin of error. So those are the 3 criteria that must be met. And none of those trends I showed in the teaser video or have just talked about met any of those 3 criteria. I mean, come on. And that's why the trends you see out there that are pumped out by ESPN or the betting websites are garbage. They're selectively cherry-picked trends to make the people look like they know what they're talking about. One of the biggest promoters of these trends are the books themselves. I mean, BetMGM sends you emails with betting tips for the upcoming games sometimes. They really do. I'm not joking. Why would the sports book send you advice if it was good advice that would cause the book to lose money? And that's a great point. That's a great point, right? If these trends were worth a damn, why are they giving them out for free? Like, these trends I showed you in the teaser video, they were posted on tout websites. They are in the business of pick selling. So if those trends had any value at all, why are they giving them out for free? Why? Maybe it's because they don't have any intrinsic monetary value. So I'm sure you're wondering, okay, then why do they give them out? Why do they go through all that effort to give out these trends? Well, credibility is why. It makes these people look like they know what they're talking about. It makes the talking heads on ESPN look like they know what they're talking about. It makes the touts look like they know what they're talking about. And therefore, you form a relationship with these individuals that are spitting out this crap and think that they're credible. And therefore, it's branding. And therefore, you associate positive feelings with this brand and you're willing to spend money on that brand in the future. That's why. But trust me, these trends are not worth the pixels on the screen that they are displayed on. They are worth absolutely nothing. They are a marketing tool only. So if you bet using these trends, you're not going to have a good time. I'm sure many of us have been through a phase before I have. I will admit yours truly has been through a phase where I thought trends were worth something and I used them to make betting decisions. But you quickly wise up. Because just because one of these outdated, cherry-picked, small sample size trends might seem profitable now does not guarantee they're going to be profitable going forward. So you're probably wondering, well, how do I find trends that do meet all three criteria? Well, if you're looking for long-term trends that are not outdated without cherry-picked arbitrary start and endpoints, you know what that is also known as? It's also known as a model, because that's what models do. They mine data sets to find those trends and angles. That's what a model does. But anyway, it just drives me nuts to see trends out there being peddled on ESPN College Game Day or Fox Bet Live or Daily Wager or all these talent and betting websites. They're crap. They're crap. Learn, guys, learn. They are crap. Don't give them clicks. Definitely don't bet using them. They exist to give credibility to the people putting them out. If a tout puts out these fancy-looking trends on Twitter, it makes them look smart, and it helps build up their brand. That's why they're out there. Brand marketing. Brand marketing, ladies and gentlemen. Brand marketing. All right. Well, that wraps up this video about trends. They are fool's gold, guys. So you're probably wondering what's next in this video series. Well, we're going to talk about systems because it seems like everybody out there has a system that they swear by. Are systems worth anything? Stay tuned to find out. You've been watching Sports Betting Truth.